So we will start with this today's session. In the last session, we have taken one problem that is basically horizontal bar, okay, horizontal tapered bar. Okay, so as I told you in the last lecture, today we are going to solve the problem on vertical tapered bar. Okay, so let's consider this problem. Let's consider the problem. So they have given basically, okay, so this is a fixed support. Okay, this is a fixed support, and to this fixed support they have attached one vertical tapered bar. Okay, I will just draw the diagram. This is vertical tapered bar which they have attached to the fixed support. Vertical tapered bar which they have attached to the fixed support. Okay, so area at this particular section, okay, area at this particular section, that is at the top end, area at the top end, they have mentioned as A0, and its value is 5,000 mm square. 5,000 mm square area at the top of the bar, okay, or cross section area at the top of the bar, it is 5,000 mm square. Okay, now at the bottom, they have mentioned that area as AL, and they have given the value as 2,500 mm square. 2,500 mm square, right? Now this total length, okay, the total length of the bar, this is a total length of the bar, okay, and it is measuring, it is measuring 1,000 mm. This is measuring 1,000 mm. This is a total length of the bar which is measuring 1,000 mm. Now what they have done is they have applied, okay, they have applied load. They have applied a load of P. Okay, they applied load P. They applied the load P. Okay, at a distance, okay, at a distance 500 mm, at a distance 500 mm, okay, at a distance 500 mm from the fixed support. They have attached applied the load 500 P at a distance 500 mm from the fixed support. Okay, now they have given that this structure it is made up of a material with value of E as 200 gigapascal, okay, with density 80 kilonewton per meter cube, okay, and with the load, this load which is applied, it is 20 kilonewton. It is 20 kilonewton, and they're asking to solve, or they're asking to analyze completely. They're asking to analyze this problem. They're asking to analyze the problem, okay, analyze the problem completely. Analyze the problem completely. So try to understand, when they ask to analyze completely, okay, our final aim is to calculate the value of stress. Okay, so that is in which we are interested. So when they ask to analyze completely, that means we need to end with the calculation of the stress. Okay, so see, this is a problem which has been given. Now see, in order to proceed, okay, in order to solve the equation, in order to solve this problem, we used to write down element matrix equation. That is AE by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 U1 U2 is equal to F1 F2. This is element matrix equation for bar under axial load. Okay, where we required area, But if you see this particular section basically, or this particular bar, it's a tapered one. So very basic thing is to convert this bar of tapered cross section into bar of uniform cross section. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just draw the same diagram, and I will try to convert it. Okay, so let me start with the solution. Okay, so I will start initially by converting this bar, tapered bar, okay, into bar of uniform cross section. Okay, so let's consider, okay, this is a fixed support, right? This is a fixed support. To this fixed support, okay, this is the bar which is attached. This is the bar which is attached. I'm drawing somewhat larger diagram so that everybody of you should be able to understand. Right? So this is a tapered bar. Okay. So see area at this particular section. Okay, if you want, I will write down area at this particular section. See, I will directly write down A0, and it is equal to 5,000 mm square. See, it is given in the problem, right? Area at this particular section, it is given 5,000 mm square. At the same time, area at this particular section, it is also given as AL. It is given as AL, and it is given as 2,500 mm square. 2,500 mm square, right? So now see, and what they have done, they have applied some force here, right? They applied some force here. They applied some force P here, right? So see, this is a single element, right? This is a single element, right? But as they applied the load here, so the point where they have applied the load, at that point I need to form the node, right? So this is my node. So what happens when you put this as a node? Okay, when you put this as a node, obviously your this entire length of 1000 mm will be get split into two elements of 500 mm each. Okay, so I will just draw a line here. Okay, I will just draw a line here. So from the point where they applied the load, I will just draw a line. So what happens is this entire element or entire length of 1000 mm gets split into two parts of 500 mm each, because they have applied the load at a distance 500 mm from the fixed support. So from the 500 mm fixed support, or at a distance 500 mm from the fixed support, I will mark a node. When you mark the node, okay, what happens? That element gets split into two parts. Now thing is like that. Now you have two elements. Okay, you have two elements, but both the elements are again tapered elements. So we need to convert these elements into elements of uniform cross sections. We need to convert these elements into elements of uniform cross section. Okay, so for that I need to calculate area here first. Okay, so I should calculate what is the area at this particular section, that I need to calculate. Okay, so I will calculate this area. Okay, I need to calculate this area, right? I should know this area. I should calculate what is the area at a distance 500 mm. Okay, let me call this as, okay, I will just write down this as area at a distance 500. I is supposed to calculate it. Area at a distance 500. What is the area at a distance 500? So for that, okay, I need to use a formula which has been given you in the last lecture. Okay, so if I need to calculate area at any distance x, okay, it is given by a0 minus x by L a0 minus AL. This is how we used to calculate area at any distance x. So I need to calculate area at a distance 500. Okay, so for that I will do that. Okay, so let me write down this here only. Okay, so area at any distance x is given by a0 minus x by L, a0 minus AL, right? A0 minus AL. A0 minus AL. So I need to now calculate what is the area at a distance 500. So area at a distance 500 is given by A0. A0 is 5,000 minus X. I need to calculate at a 500. So X is 500 upon total length of the element. It's 1,000. Upon A0 minus AL, that is 5,000 minus 2,500. So let me know how much we are getting this value. How much we are getting this value. How much value we are getting, right? So see this value, right? This value is coming as 3750, right? This is coming as 3750 mm square. Okay, so this is the value which we got. Area at a distance 500. This value we have got it as 3750 mm square. 3750 mm square. So we got the area at this particular section, that is 3750 mm square, right? Now see, I know the area dissection. I know the area dissection. Okay, so I will take, if I take the mean of this and this, I will get the mean area for this one, right? So what I will do is I will simply calculate the mean area. Okay, I will just simply calculate the mean area. Okay, so this is the mean area for element number 1. So I will call this as AM1, mean area for element number 1, AM1, right? AM1. Okay, so this value I will get, some value I will get, right? So I need to calculate mean area for element number 1. Okay, so how I do that? I will calculate. Okay, just here, all of you. So if I need to calculate the mean area for element number 1, okay, so AM1 is given by, mean area for element number 1 is given by, it's the average of, or it's a mean of A0 plus A500 by 2, right? So here it is 5,000, here it is 3750. Okay, so 5,000 plus 3750 divided by 2. Okay, so I will get it as 4375 mm square. So this is a value which we are getting, right? 4375 mm square, right? Same sort of procedure I need to repeat when I need to calculate mean area for this one, right? So I will calculate now the mean area for this particular section. Okay, so see, now here area is 3750, here area is 2500. So I'll just take the mean of this. Okay, so I'll just take the mean of this. So this is the mean area which I'll get. Okay, I will call this as AM2. AM2, right? This is a mean area, AM2, right? So I will calculate AM2. So AM2, it's basically, AM2 is a mean of A500 and AL. Okay, A500 and AL, that is 3750 and 2500, right? By 2. So it is 3750 plus 2500 divided by 2. Okay, so we will get this value as 3125 mm square, 3125 mm square, right? So this is the value which we got, right? So this value, it is coming as AM2, it is coming as AM2, it is coming as, see, this is the AM2 and this is coming as 3125 mm square, right? And see, this is AM1, this is AM1, and this was coming as 4375 mm square, 4375 mm square, right? So now we have mean area, right? We have mean area. So with these areas, we can solve the problem. With these areas, we can solve the problem, right? So it is enough with the area. So you have now the element matrix equation, AE by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. In that manner, you can do. That is not a problem, right? But next thing is that, see, as I told you, when any bar it is hanging vertically, obviously the gravitational force will come into picture, right? So gravitational force will come into picture. Okay, so see, if I need to draw the diagram, okay, for the elements, okay, if I need to draw the diagram for the element, okay, I see, this is, I will just write down here only. So this is, try to understand, huh? This is element number 1. Okay, this is my element number 1. Okay, and this is my element number 2, right? This is element number 1 and this is element number 2, right? We have element number 1, element number 2. Okay, I will number this as node number 1, node number 2, and node number 3, right? We have 2 elements, 3 nodes, right? Now see, if the bar is horizontal, you can solve the problem like this. But bar is not horizontal, it's a vertical. So you need to account the gravitational force, right? So what happens is, let's consider that W1 is the weight of this particular section, right? Upper section, that is first element, will have the weight as W1, try to understand. Upper section will have the weight as W1. If you want, I will write down, let W1 is the weight of the element number 1. Okay, so if W1 is the weight of element number 1, what will happen? This W1 will be get distributed equally at every node. Okay, so what happens is W1 by 2 will go to this node and W1 by 2 will go to this node. Is that okay? See, if W1 is the weight of the element, if W1 is the weight of element number 1, half of it will go to node 1 and half of it will go to node 2. Similarly, if this W2, okay, if W2, okay, if you want, I will indicate it by different color. Okay, if okay, try to understand. If W2, okay, if W2 is the weight of element number 2, if W2 is the weight of element number 2, then what happens is half of it, that is W2 by 2, will go to node 2, okay, and similarly half of it will go to node 3, right? Half of it we need to go to, will go to node 3. Is that okay? Out of W1, half will go to node 1, half will go to node 2. Similarly, out of W2, half will go to node 2 and half will go to node 3, right? Is that okay? Now thing is that we have just written the weight. Now we need to calculate the weight, right? We are supposed to calculate the weight now. We need to calculate the weight now. Okay. So see, I will go here with the basic equations. Okay. I will go here with very basic equations. Okay. Now see, try to understand. If I ask you to calculate what is the formula for density, right? If I ask you to calculate what is the formula for density, okay, how will you calculate density? Density, it is given by mass upon volume, right? Density, it is given by mass by volume. So if I need to calculate mass is given by density into volume, right? Mass is equal to density into volume. So see, if I give you the density, in kg per meter cube, if I give you the density in kg per meter cube, see, density is the unit for density. Mass upon volume, mass is in kg, volume is in meter cube. So density will be kg by meter cube into volume. Obviously, volume will be in meter cube, right? So in that case, you will get the unit for mass as kg. Okay, so what unit for mass you will get? You will get the mass in kg. Okay. Now you just, if you just come back to the problem, okay, if you just come back to the problem, okay, we have the density in kilonewton. Okay, we have the density in kilonewton, right? So try to understand. If we have the density in kilonewton per, this is in meter cube. This is in meter cube. I will convert this into mm cube. Try to understand, because I have area in mm cube. Try to understand. I have area in mm cube. Okay, because see, ultimately, what is volume? It is nothing but area into, okay, length. Volume is nothing but area into length. Okay, so directly volume is not given. So based on the area, what we have calculated, that is mean area, and whatever the length of the element is having, from that we need to calculate volume. Okay. Now see, if I take this volume, try to understand. If I take this volume, let's say in kilonewton, if I take this density, see, this is a density which is in kilonewton per meter cube. Okay, this is in kilonewton per meter cube. If I take it in kilonewton per mm cube, okay, and if I volume it is in mm cube, okay, what happens is I will get mass. Okay, I will get the mass is in kilonewton. I will get the mass is in kilonewton, and that is nothing but a weight. Okay, when you multiply mass by acceleration due to gravity, okay, W is equal to m into g. That is what the relation is. Okay, so if I'll just bring this mass, okay, I will convert this mass to weight by just multiplying by acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so that means in the density which was in kg per meter cube, now it is in kilonewton per meter cube, and I will convert that kilonewton per meter cube into kilonewton per mm cube, and when I multiply it by volume, that is mm cube, okay, I will get the weight. I will get directly the weight that will be in kilonewton. Okay, so how to do that? Okay, so here I need to do some conversion. Okay, I supposed to do some conversion. Okay, so how I should do that? So let's see this one. Okay, so I will just convert this. So this is 80 kilonewton. Okay, this is 80 kilonewton. Kilonewton has to be kept as it is. I need to convert this meter cube to mm cube. Okay, I need to convert. See, this is meter to mm. How will do that? Meter to mm, just multiplied by 10 raised to power. Okay, just multiplied by 10 raised to power 3. Okay, so this is how you'll convert. This is how you'll convert meter to mm. Meter to mm just multiplied by 10 raised to power 3 and its cube. Okay. So this is in mm cube. This is in mm cube, right? Kilonewton per mm cube, right? So what value you will get? I will just write down here only. So I'll get as 80 into 10 raised to power minus 9. 80 into 10 raised to power minus 9, right? Kilonewton per mm cube. Kilonewton per mm cube. This is kilonewton per mm cube. Is that okay? Is that okay, all of you? Right? So what we'll do now here is, okay, we'll calculate weight of element number 1. Try to understand. I will calculate weight of element number 1. So I will write down W1, weight of element number 1. That I will call it as W1. Okay. So if I need to calculate weight of element number 1, I should have density. Okay, and we have single material, so density it will remain same. Okay, so density, I will write down rho into see, try to understand. Weight is given by density into volume. Okay, density into volume. So I will write down its volume as V1, right? So density into volume. Now volume it's nothing but area into length. Okay, so I will write down mean area of element number 1 into length of element number 1. Okay, so see, you can check it. This density, it is in kilonewton per mm cube multiplied by mm square multiplied by mm. So you will get kilonewton. Okay. So I'll write down that 80 into, okay. So this is 80 into 10 raised to power, just a time before we have seen, right? 80 into, just check this, 80 into 10 raised to power minus 9, 80 into 10 raised to power minus 9, right? 80 into 10 raised to power minus 9 multiplied by, see, this is density, mean area of element number 1, mean area of element number 1, it is 4375, okay, into length of element number 1. Each element it is of 500 mm, right? So 500, right? So we will get this value as 0.175, and that is basically kilonewton. 0.175, that is kilonewton, right? So see what will happen, as I told you, see W1 by 2. Okay, so what is the half of 0.175? Okay, half of 0.175. Okay, that is 0 point, I will write down here, that is equal to 0.0875 kilonewton. 0.0875 kilonewton, right? Okay, so this will go here. See, W1 it was coming as 0.175, so half will go here and half will come here, right? So again, this is 0.0875, right? 0.0875, right? So this is how it works. Half will go here, half will go here, right? So now let's do it. Let's do it for now weight of element number 2. Weight of element number 2. How to do that? Again, density into volume of element number 2, right? So density, it is the same for entire both the elements, and its volume, its mean area into its length. Mean area into its length. So see, density, it is 80 into 10 raised to power minus 9 density. Okay, and into its mean area, it's a 3125. Into length, it's a 500. Into length, it's a 500, right? So see, this is coming to be 0.125 kilonewton. This will come as 0.125 kilonewton, right? So what will happen? Half of it, half of 0.125, half of 0.125. Okay, so that is nothing but half of 0.125, that is 0.0625 will go here, and okay, 0.0625 will come here, right? 0.0625 will come here. See, out of this 0.175, half will go here, that is 0.875, it is going to come here, 0.875 is going to come here, and out of this 0.125, half will go here, that is 0.0625, and half will come here, that is 0.0625. Right. Now just tell me how much it is coming, this addition. Just tell me how much this addition is coming. Okay. Just do this calculation and let me know how much this addition it is coming. Do it. Immediately do this addition and let me know what value we are getting. Just do this calculation fast and just let me know the value, what we are getting. 0.0875 plus 0.0625. What value we are getting? Each of you should do the calculation and let me know the answers immediately. Because this is required. This is required. 0.0875 plus 0.0625. 0.087 plus 0.0625. It is coming as 0.15. This is 0.15 kilonewton. This is 0.15 kilonewton. Right? This is 0.015 kilonewton. Is that okay, all of you? Is that okay? Let me know. Is that okay or not?
Yes.
Okay. So see, this is basic requirement, right? So from this, now we are shifting to our procedure, FEA procedure. Okay. So for that, we need to write down the element matrix equation. Okay. So we need to write down this EME, that is element matrix equation. Element matrix equation is given by. Okay. So what is our element matrix equation? It is given by AE by L into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, right? Into the displacement, that is U1 U2, is given by force, that is F1 F2. Okay, F1 F2, right? So see, as you know already, this is called as element stiffness matrix. When you multiply it by displacement, it will give you the value of force, right? So this is element stiffness matrix, which you are supposed to write down for every element. So let's start that with element number 1. Stiffness matrix of element number 1. Stiffness matrix of element number 1. Okay, I will write down the stiffness matrix for element number 1. Okay, so it is to be written as area of element number 1. So what is the area of element number 1? It's 4375 area into E. E it is same for entire problem. That is, you can check it. That's value is 200. E it's 200 upon length of element 1. So each element it is of 500. So 500 into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, right? So just do the calculation and let me know what value we are getting for element number 1. You just calculate this term. We'll multiply this term inside a bracket. 4375 by 200 into 200 divided by 500. Right? So just let me know that value, what we are getting. What is the value which we are getting? All of you should do the calculation and let me know. 4375 multiplied by 200 divided by 500. So it's coming as 1750, right? So we'll multiply that 1750. It's coming as 1750. Okay, and this is to be multiplied inside. Okay, so this is 1750 minus 1750 minus 1750 and 1750, right? Okay, now see, if you can see this element number 1, this is very important, right? If you just see this element number 1, it is between 1 and 2. It is between node 1 and 2. So we need to write down here 1 2 and 1 2. Okay, 1 2 and 1 2, right? Now we need to now write down the matrix for element number 2. Okay, stiffness matrix for element number 2. So I'll write down stiffness matrix for element number 2. Stiffness matrix for element number 2 is given by, okay, it's area of element number 2. Area of element number 2. It's 3125, right? It's a 3125 area into E. E it is same for entire problem. That is 200 AE by length L. It's a 500 AE by L is 500, right? Into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, right? So just do this calculation, right? 3125 into 200 divided by 500. 3125 into 200 divided by 500. So it is coming as 1250, right? So it is coming as 1250. So this is 1250 minus 1250 minus 1250 and 1250, right? Now if you see this element number 2, you see this element number 2, it is basically node, it is between node 2 and 3. Okay, it is between node 2 and 3. So accordingly you assign the rows and columns. Okay, so it's 2 and 3. Right? Now we have element stiffness matrices. Now our next step is to go for global stiffness matrices. Okay, so I will write down global stiffness matrices. So for that we need to determine what is the size. Okay, what is the size of global stiffness? Okay, what is the size of global stiffness matrix? Okay, and size of the global stiffness matrix will be determined by, okay, number of nodes, okay, multiplied by degrees of freedom, degrees of freedom, degrees of freedom per node, degrees of freedom per node. Okay, number of nodes multiplied by degrees of freedom per node. So see, you can see in the problem we have total 3 nodes, right? Node number 1, 2, 3. We have 3 nodes and we have applied the force in vertical direction, that is only in single direction. Okay, so we will have only single degree of freedom. So this is 1. So this is coming to be 3. Okay, this is coming to be 3. So our size of the global stiffness matrix will be 3 by 3, right? So size of the global stiffness matrix will be 3 by 3. Okay, so I will write down this global stiffness matrix here. Okay, so global stiffness matrix it is given by, I'll just mark it here only. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2, okay, this is 3. Okay, then we'll have 1, 2 and 3. Okay, this 1, 2, 3, right? So I'll just make rows and columns here. Okay, I'll just mark the rows, I'll just mark the columns, so there will not be any confusion, right? So just thing is like that, you just pick and place. Okay, a simple thing, 1, 2, 1, 2. There is nothing to check or nothing to verify. See, it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. Just get the starting point 1, 1. So at 1, 1 you put 1750, 1750. Just side of that minus 1750. Here you put minus 1750, and here you put 1750. See, see, this is straightforward, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you find it to be very simple. But if it is 1, 3, 1, 3 or 3, 1, 3, 1, so in that you need to take more care, right? Now just go for this one, that is 2, 2. So at 2, 2, you write down 1, 2, 5, right? So what I'll do at 2, 2. Okay, so this is 2, this is 2. See, this is 2, this is 2. So I'll write down plus 1, 2, 5, 0 plus 1, 2, 5, 0. Just side of that minus 1, 2, 5, 0. Here minus 1, 2, 5, 0. Then here 1, 2, 5, 0. Right? See, this is for stiffness matrix of element number 1. This is for stiffness matrix of element number 2. Right? Now see, where you are not getting any terms, at that point you need to put it as 0 value. So that I did. So this is how I get the global stiffness matrix. Right? Now once we have global stiffness matrix, so the very next step to that is we need to write down the global matrix equation. Global matrix equation. We need to write down the global matrix equation. Right? So I will start now with the global matrix equation. Okay. So I'll write down here. Global matrix equation. Global matrix equation is given by, okay, global matrix equation is given by, see, this is a global stiffness matrix. When you multiply it by displacement will be given by force. Simple. Okay, so just write down this matrix. Just write down this matrix. Okay, I'll just write down that matrix.
माइक बंद करना है शहबाज.
Okay, so I'll write down this global stiffness matrix now. So this is 1750. This is minus 1750. Here it is 0. Then this is minus 1750. If you do this addition, okay, this value, addition of this, okay, it will come as, just do the addition. This will come as 3000. This is 3000 divided by the next term is minus 1250. This is 0, minus 1250, and this is 1250, right? So this is a global stiffness matrix which are written. Okay, you can check with this. This is to be multiplied by displacements. This is to be multiplied by displacements, and those displacements are u1, u2, u3, because we have 3 nodes. Is given by force, and these forces are F1, F2, and F3. F1, F2, and F3. Now see, now this is a very important step. Now whatever I'm writing, this is a very important step. Now see, these are the axial loads, or these are the forces which are applied. Okay. Now see, in addition to these forces, we have the weight. Which will come into picture. So at node 1, try to understand. At node 1, in addition to the F1, this weight will act, right? This weight will act, right? And how much it will act? 0.0875. Okay. So I will just write down that value. Okay, I'll just write down that value here only. So that is I will write down this F1 plus 0.0875, right? F1 is 0 plus, see, this value are written at node 1. So at node 1, which force is acting? F1. Okay, and in addition to that, it's half weight of element number 1, that is 0.0875 will act. That is what is written. Now go for node 2. So at node 2, how much it will act? Plus 0.15. So I'll write down plus 0.15, right? Plus 0.15. Now at node 3, how much it will act? This is, so plus 0.0625 plus 0.0625. Now see, try to understand. Okay, plus 0.0625. Is that okay? All of you? Is that okay with this one? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so see, all of you, just see this one, right? So this is F1, F2, F3. This is F1, F2, F3. And in addition to the forces, we have written this half weight of element number 1 here. Okay, addition of half weight of element number 1 and half weight of element number 2, it is written. And half weight of element number 2, it is written here, right? Now see, all of you, though these forces are acting downward, I've taken their sign as plus. I've taken that sign as plus. So you just remember, though, see, these forces are acting downward, so still I have taken their sign as plus. So whenever I put the value of, P, which is acting here, see, let me write down. So whenever I will put the value of P, which is acting here, it should be again taken as positive, because this, see, these are the weights which are acting downward, they have taken as plus. So this P, it is acting downward, you take it as plus, not a problem.
So downward को तो अपन negative लेते हैं ना, लेकिन.
See, that is a convention, na? If you want, you just take this as a minus, this as minus, this as minus, then you take P as minus, not a problem. See, it's a convention, it's not hard and fast rule. It's not necessary that it is universally not. Okay. Yeah. So see, this is the equation which are written now. Right. Now we need to solve this equation. So solving this equation, okay, we need to check with the boundary condition. Okay, we need to check with the boundary condition. Now, if you can see, the structure, it is fixed at node 1. At node 1, it is fixed. So what I will make is displacement at node 1, I will make it at 0. Okay, so when you will make displacement at node 1 at 0, first row and first column gets cancelled. And what is remaining is you have two simultaneous equations with unknowns u2 and u3. So we are interested to calculate value of u2 and u3, provided we should put the value of f2 and f3. Okay, so what is f2? It is a force applied at node 2. So if you can see here at node 2, what force we applied? We applied P. We applied load P. At node 2, we applied load P, and magnitude of P is 20 kilonewton. Okay, so here I will just write down F2 is equal to 20. Remember, I am not writing down as a minus 20. I am writing these as a plus 20 because all these are taken as plus. All these are taken as plus, though they are acting downward. So I am following downward positive. So whenever I will get reaction at point number 1, I will get it as negative reaction. Okay, right? So see this P1, how much P1 it is acting? 20 kilonewton downward. So at this point, 20 kilonewton upward reaction will be generated. It should be at this point, 20 kilonewton reaction has to be generated, right? So now see F2 it is 20. Okay, now what is the force applied at node 3? At node 3, is there any force which is applied? No. So F3, I will put it as 0. I'll put this value as 0, right? Now when you put this value in a calculator, okay, and you just put these values in a calculator and try to calculate the answers. Okay, you just solve this equation in a calculator and get the answers. Solve this equation in a calculator and get the answers. Okay, so for that we need to go to this calculator, right? Right. What we will do is we will go to mode. Okay, then we will go to solve system equations to unknown. Solve system equations to unknown. This I will select. Okay, so I will enter this value as 3000. Then this is minus 1250. Then this is 20 plus, that is F2 plus 0.15. F2 plus 0.15. Okay. Then minus 1250. Then 1250. And then F3 plus 0.0625. So F3 is 0. So it is 0.0625. Okay. So when you solve this one, okay, you will get this value. Okay, x means first variable, that is u2. So I'll write down this value u2.
0.0115.
Are you solving? Or you're just telling the value which I have calculated? This is u2. Then this is u3. 0.0116 mm. Okay, so these are the values which you have got when we solve it. Okay, so these are the values of displacement that we have got. Now, how to check where displacements are right? Now, just calculate the reaction. Okay, how will get a reaction? The reaction is F1. Okay, so first row by this column will give you the value of F1. Okay, so 1750 into U1, that is 0. Then minus 1750, I will write down. So minus 1750 into U2, try to understand, into U2, then 0 into U3. See, I will not write down those 0 terms. That is not expected at this lecture. See, 1750 into U1, that is 0. Minus 1750 into U2, that is what is written. 0 into U3, that is not required to be written. E is equal to F1. Is equal to F1 plus 0.0875. F1 plus 0.0875. Okay, so just do the calculation. Okay, just do the calculation and just tell me how much value we're getting for F1.
1 minute, sir.
Okay, so that is minus 1750 into U2. U2 just now we have calculated 0.01155 is equal to F1 plus 0.0875. So from this you will get the value of F1. From this you will get the value of F1. Do this.
Sir, बताओ ना 1 minute.
Okay, I'll do that. See, just do this and tell me the value of F1. Listen, F1 should be should come as now minus 20. It should come as a minus 20. Simple. It should be. Because see, this is plus 20. So in order to balance this plus 20, obviously minus 20 should be generated at node 1. So just check it.
सर -231 आ रहा है. क्या आना चाहिए सर?
Okay, so let's do this calculation.
सर क्या आना चाहिए?
Let's do the calculation and let's check, na. Let's check, na. Let's do it. Okay, so this is -1750. This is to be multiplied by 0.01155, right? This is and minus, okay, this is minus 0.0875. So this is coming as -20.3. F1 it is coming as -20.3 kilonewton. All of you check what you have done exactly. I solved this equation in front of you only, so you should be able to do that. And that is basic mathematics that is not required to be explained. Just do that. So this is F1, right? Now let's check with the condition of equilibrium. That is summation of forces in y direction. Now we have the vertical forces. And which are those forces? This force plus this force plus this force. So just check that. So F1 plus 0.0875, then plus F2 plus 0.15. You can't take it F1 plus F2 plus F3 because this every term you need to write down. Plus F3 plus 0.0625. F3 plus 0.0625. So now let's put the values. F1 we are getting as -20.3 plus 0.0875 plus F2. F2 it is 20. So 20 plus 0.15 plus F3 is 0. So 0 plus 0.0625. Right? So let's do this calculation. Let's do this calculation. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, and just check what answer we are getting. So -20.3 plus 0.0875 plus 20 plus 0.15 plus 0 plus 0.0625. So you can check what we answer we are getting. All of you check it. What answer we are getting? We are getting 0 value, right? So summation of forces it is coming as 0. You can check it in front of you only. It's solved. So summation of forces we are getting at 0. That means whatever the values of displacements that we have got are correct value. Because from this displacement we have calculated reaction, and further we have utilized this reaction so as to calculate summation of forces in y direction, and it is coming as 0. That means the displacements are correct, right? Now see, we have calculated now reaction. So next step we will go directly for calculation of the stress. We'll go for the calculation of stress directly, right? So stress, for that I will go with the basic equation. E is given by stress by strain. So from this we will get stress is equal to E into strain. E into strain. So that is nothing but E into strain. It is change in length
upon original length.
It is right. It is change in length upon original length. Change in length upon original length, right? So let's calculate now stress. Stress induced in element number 1. Stress induced in element number 1. Now modulus of elasticity, it is same for entire problem. That is 200. E. Okay, E is 200 into change in length. Okay, otherwise what I'll do, I'll just basically first write down the formula for that. Okay, I will just write down the formula. So stress is given by E into change in length of element number 1. How will calculate change in length of element number 1? Element number 1 will have two nodes, that is 1 and 2. Node 1 will have displacement U1. Node 2 will have displacement U2. So if you just take the difference between the displacement at the nodes of the element, it will give you the length, change in length of the element. So upon original length of the element, that is L1. Okay. So I will write down E. Value of E, it is 200 into U2. U2 we have calculated 0.01155 minus U1. U1 displacement at node 1 it is 0. Upon length of the element it is 500. So from this you can just do the calculations and let me know the value which is coming, right? Now similarly we can calculate stress induced in element number 2. Okay, so it is nothing but again E. Okay, E of element number 2, it is same. If you want, I will write down this as E1, this as E2, but it is same for our problem. Now, element number 2, it is between node 2 and node 3. Okay, so we need to take the difference between U3 and U2 upon a length of element number 2, right? See, element number 2 will have two nodes, 2 and 3. So if you take the difference between the displacement at node 3 and a node 2, okay, so it will give me the change in length upon original length is L2. So it is equal to E2. E2 is again this 200. This is to be multiplied.
0.0042.
Okay.
0.00462.
0.00462.
62.
Okay, and what will be the unit? Unit will be of
Yes.
E, that is gigapascal. Gigapascal. Next, let me put this U3. U3 0.0116 minus U2 0.01155 upon length, and this is 500, right? So we will get some value. See, unit of E will be the unit for stress. Unit of E will be the unit for stress, because this term strain, it's a unitless quantity, right? It is basically the ratio of lengths. Okay, so it's a unitless quantity. So just let me know what value it is. You just do this calculation and just let me know what value we're getting. How much it is getting? You're getting this value. See, this term will be obviously in minus. You get this term because see, this is lower minus. Just check it. You're getting is how much you're getting?
8 minutes.
You're getting this is plus or minus or plus? Plus value. Right?
Plus
How much you're getting?
Plus
Huh?
में आ रही है.
Just tell me the value. Just tell the value.
1 minute, sir.
Just tell me the single answer which is correct.
Still है sir. रुक जाओ sir.
If I ask you to do the simple calculation, I don't think that will take that much time. 200. It is to be
0.00002.
So this is coming like 0.4
हाँ वही आया sir.
times 0.2 gigapascal. Is that okay, all of you? Okay. Is that okay, all of you? Let me know. Is that okay?
Yes sir. वही आया.
Okay. So see, all of you. If I need to brief or if I need to summarize this problem, basically there was a vertical bar. There was a vertical bar which is applied with certain load at some distance from the fixed end. So our basic idea initially is to convert that tapered bar into the bar of uniform cross section. Once we have done that, we have calculated what is the weight of every bar, because that weight of every element is going to act or it will be distributed equally at every node. So that we have done. Okay, and that we load. Okay, once we have the weight, we have distributed it, and after that we have calculated element stiffness matrices. Then we have calculated global stiffness matrices. Okay, then we have taken this weight here because it will act, but this weight we have taken as a plus. Okay, though it is acting down, we have taken as plus, and whatever the weight that is going downward, that we have taken also as a plus value. because this weight which is acting downward we have taken as plus. That's why the load which is going downward, that also we have taken as plus. And with that we have solved this equation, and after that we have checked this condition of equilibrium, and further we have calculated the value of stress. So is that okay to all of you? Is there any doubt or difficulty? You let me know.
सर
Yeah. Yes.
सर ये वेट सबका सेम नहीं हो सकता ना?
How it is same?
मतलब वो जो W1 W2 अपन निकाले,
Yeah.
हाँ तो वो सेम नहीं हो
See,
सकता
here
ना?
only you can check, na. See, W1, if you check it here, W1, see, W1 and W2, both are depends upon what? Volume, na? You can check it. Because density is
Yes.
same, they will depends upon volume. Again, when you come to volume, their lengths are same. Their lengths are same. Now it will depends upon what? Their cross section area. Is that okay? See,
Yes.
for this particular element number 1, cross section area is 4375, and for this particular section the cross section area is 3125. Now how their weights becomes equal? No.
सर
See,
मैं
though
बोल
they
रहा
are
हूँ,
made
हो
up of,
सकता है क्या ऐसा?
no, yes, it can happen, not a problem, provided
हाँ वो पूछ रहा हूँ.
provided they should have same length as well as same cross section.
Cross
Then
sectional
only it
area.
will be same, right?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes sir.
Okay, so is there any doubt or difficulty with this one? Is there any doubt or difficulty? Is there any doubt?
सर ये जो आपने डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करे ना ये,
Yeah.
सर वो एक बार बताओ ना, मैं लेट आया था.
See, that is the reason why you should do it.
अटेंडेंस हो गई क्या सर?
Okay. See, just a wait. W1, what is the weight acting? This one, 0.175. So out of 0.175, I'm putting half weight here and half weight here. Okay. So addition of this and this, it is 0.175. Similarly, out of 0.125, I will put half here and I will put half here. So this is how it is. Okay. Weight of element number 1, you split half at the node 1 and half at node 2. Similarly, weight of element number 2, you split half at node 2 and half at node 3. So this is what is item. Okay. So today we are going to stop. Okay. And in the next lecture, we will solve the problem that is basically bar under axial load but with thermal effect. Bar under axial load with the thermal effect. That is by considering the coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay. So today we will stop. Okay. And in the next lecture, we will continue with the structural analysis, bar under axial load, that to be with the thermal effect.
Okay sir. Thank you sir.